Hello and welcome to the Garden of Grace devotion. My name is Pastor Katie, and I'm one of the pastors at Trinity Lutheran Church in Lilburn, Georgia. And today I have with me Pastor Crispin from Good Samaritan Ministries, and remind me of the second church.
Faith and Grace Lutheran Church.
Faith and Grace Lutheran Church. Pastor Crispin is joining me today because during the season of Easter at Trinity, we're going to focus on the theme, I love to tell the story. In so many different ways. I love to tell the story of God at work in the world. I love to tell the story of God's love. I love to tell the story of God's grace. And Pastor Crispin and I have been journeying in a story together for the last several months, along with Trinity and along with Good Samaritan. And we want to share that with you today. A couple of months ago, well, let's see, it's April now, Pastor Crispin. I think it was in February. I think it was in early February. I thought, I need to reach out to Pastor Crispin. You know that little tap you get on the shoulder sometimes by the Holy Spirit? And it had gone on for some days. And finally, I was like, okay, all right. Let me reach out to Pastor Crispin. And so I did. I called him. And that was not a great day for you, the day that I called. You were not having a great day. And there were a lot of things going on. And Pastor Crispin said, I could use a hand. So that day I got a list of things that his congregation could use. I said, well, can you give me a list? Give me a list of things that might be helpful. And so I got that list and we sent that out to Trinity. And then a couple weeks later, Pastor Crispin, you sent me a GoFundMe that you had started for a bus. Do you want to say a little bit about your need for a bus?
Yeah, so as we know, Good Samaritan is that congregation for refugee people coming to this country and people who are struggling, and main issue is transportation, how to go to church. People don't have a car, so as pastor have to be pastor, the driver to take them to church. Sorry, because I'm so this is the story of being pastor at the Good Samaritan. So you see people, you meet them in their own situation, and that has been so painful for me when I have a car that can take only 6 people, and when I go to take families that are 10, 12, and see people being sad for not going to church because we don't have a van, a bus to take them to church. So I said, we are Lutherans and we belong to the church. Is there any way that I can seek help from friends, from churches that could help? And then I said, I can just start a GoFundMe and hope that God will bless us. God will help us get this bus, which is a key for our ministry. And I don't know how God touched you, Pastor. And that's when you called me, when I was thinking theologically about that and trying to make plans how to get this problem being solved for Good Samaritan.
So I reached out to you and, to learn a little bit more about the GoFundMe. And I said, hey, Pastor Crispin, before 2020, you used to borrow our older bus, right?
Yes.
You used to borrow the 2006 bus and you would come Saturday night, get the bus, pick up your people, take them home, have worship, take them home, and then bring the bus back. And so I said to you, I don't know if this can happen, but would you like to borrow it? And you said, oh, yes. I think you sang a song that didn't even have words. You were so excited. So I went and, Pastor Scott and I had talked about it. And I went to our community schools director and I said, hey, and I said, remember Pastor Crispin and, all da. She said, yes, I remember. I said, well, it would help them to be able to use the bus again while they're waiting to try to purchase a bus. And she said, well, we have been saving for quite some time to purchase a bus for community schools, and we are no longer going to need that bus. We needed a bus with more seating.
Yeah.
And she says, we're not going to need that anymore. And I said, what? I said, look at God at work. Look at God at work. And so, in order for all of this to happen, she had to communicate with the community school board. We had to communicate with the leadership team. And the leadership team made a recommendation to the congregation that the 06 bus be given to Good Samaritan Ministries. And the congregation voted on it on Sunday and approved it. And it was the story of the little girl that I read in your GoFundMe that I told
Yeah.
Pastor Crispin, that I told to Miss Brenda, our community school director. And at that point, she was like, take it. So I was able to call you on Sunday and share that news
Yeah.
with you. What will it mean for you in coming weeks when that happens?
So I mean, when you called me, we were having our worship service that time.
Oh, I called during worship.
Yeah, it was during worship service. And when I saw your name, so I said, this must be God calling. God calling, and you gave me that wonderful news. That immediately I announced to my congregation, and we all shout out saying, this is the Easter blessing, a special blessing, and especially for people like us, refugees, being afraid, watching news from America, from back home, where we don't have good news. It's about people being killed, people being displaced, people being threatened due to their immigration status. And to get that news, it was really the Easter blessing, the good news of Easter. And I I I immediately reflected theologically on that news. Your news was to us like Jesus talking to Thomas. Do not doubt, but believe. And I said, we have believed, and God has fulfilled our promises. So so I could see faces shining. I could see people laughing, and people came to say, we are church together. We are church for the sake of the world. We are church to lead God his mission. So that was the story of this journey of faith, of ups and downs. And finally, God, God really using yourself, your feeling, your compassion, your advocacy to the congregation, to everybody, to get to this result. So on behalf again of Good Samaritan, our kids, our friends, our members want to say thank you. Thank you so much for having been with us throughout this journey. And as you know, Trinity help us use the bus at the beginning, and boom, COVID came. Everything got disrupted due COVID, and then we came back to our roots. And we just want to say thank you.
You know what's incredible? Like the whole time it was God's bus.
Yes.
Like have you ever found yourself in a story that you feel like somebody else is writing? Like all I did was pay attention. Really, really. And I didn't even pay attention at first, when God was like, reach out. And then I did. But it, just all the different ways that God showed up. God showed up in you in November, December, in October, November, starting that GoFundMe. God showed
Yes.
up, which will now provide for maintenance and insurance.
Yes.
God
Yes.
showed up in our community schools director and in
Yes.
all the saving they've been doing because they needed a bus with more seats for children.
Yes.
The
Yes.
engine of the bus was rebuilt 5 years ago. So even though it's a
Uh-huh.
2006 bus, it has a great engine. One of my
Yes.
neighbors has started attending Trinity and has done some fixes on the bus, like windshield
Yes.
wipers and stuff like that, because he knows vehicles. All of these things happening, these two congregations journeying side by side, one needing a bus, one needing a different bus. And God is so good. God is so good. So I'm very thankful. Thank you for just journeying, together in life and ministry. I learn a lot from you. When I think, oh, I got to get up at whatever o'clock on Sunday morning, I think, well, yes, I need to get up, get dressed, and go to Trinity, and the people will be there.
Yeah, yeah.
You, sir, get up, drive to Clarkston, drive back, drive to Clarkston, drive back, bringing as many people as you can to worship.
Yes, yes,
And
yes,
I learned from that. And so I thank you. And we are blessed to journey alongside your congregation, and the times that we've been able to worship together have been amazing.
yes,
So thank you.
yes. So, I mean, the world today needs to hear this news of consolation,
Yes.
of compassion, of love, of attention, as you said. We
God's
live
at
in
work.
we live in a world where people have lost trust in each other. We live
Mhm.
in a world even when churches members are losing trust in the church. But this experience, this journey, is the testimony of what the church has to be. We always say we believe in one holy Catholic Apostolic Church. The church being called to be one. The church being called to spread the love of the apostles. The
Mhm.
church being called to be Catholic, kata oikos, universal. The church is mother to welcome all children from different side, from Claxton to Lisbon, from Africa to America, but we all belong to the same family because we
Yeah.
are all children of God. And this bus will be breaking the walls and building the bridges that will connect easily Claxton to Faith and Grace, where we worship every Sunday at 1 p.m. So it's with gratitude.
I'm sure. It-
We feel grateful to whoever has been thinking about us, whoever has been supporting us, and whoever has done anything for this, it just doing God's job. As we say, God is work at our hands. And
God's
again,
work, our hands. Mhm.
thank you so much. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank
And
you.
we will dream
For
to
sure.
again so now to bring more people at Lilburn to celebrate together. We will
Yeah.
be happy to overcome the stress of taking our youth to affirm to all
Yes.
Georgia. Will be
Yeah.
and I'll be happy to overcome the sadness of the kids who could not come to church because they not have enough seats to come to church. So thank you so much. Christ
Glory be
is
to God.
risen, is
Christ is
risen
risen
indeed.
indeed.
Peace be with
Hallelujah.
you. Peace be with us.
Yes. Peace be with you. Thank you, Pastor Crispin.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.